everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Nourish with Renata podcast. Today, I'm actually so excited to introduce you to someone who has been making incredible waves here in the community and in her own podcast for moms. And so this is a really wonderful episode because she's also not only helping everyone else, she's helping herself specifically with her gut healing. And so I'm so excited to introduce you to Kendahl. What's going on?
Hey, I'm so excited to be here and tell my story and help you out and just letting everyone know how amazing and important it is to take care of yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. So, first and foremost, I'd love everyone to get to know you a little bit better. So, do you want to take a few minutes and introduce yourself and what you do, and also why you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Kendahl Yanez. I'm a mom of two. I have a 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. And 7 years ago, when I had my son, I was on this roller coaster ride of trying to be the perfect mom all the time. And I was kind of a control freak before and recovering control freak here. And
Like us
I
all.
just thought
Yeah.
I could finagle everything and just have it perfectly by the books. And I struggle with big time just failure and like just feeling like a failure because it wasn't perfect. I couldn't have everything the way I wanted it. And so as my journey of motherhood went on, I seek counseling and I realized like I was one, normal, I wasn't failing, but two, realized like I wasn't alone. Like so many moms felt the same way I did, but like it wasn't talked about very much. And so fast forward, I just started like encouraging other moms that were having babies. I was like one of the first in my friend group having children. And then I had my second in 2020, and that's when it really took off. And I felt a pull on my heart to start Mama, You're Doing Great. I started with a podcast, and now I have a community, and now I do events for moms. And I just really do this to just get moms surrounded by other moms to encourage each other, to uplift ourselves, and to figure out that we're not alone in our situation because we always feel like we are the only ones in whatever we're going through. We all mother differently, but at the end of the day, we want to be the best mom we can be. And so I just love to just tell moms how amazing they are and just to help them and give them resources to feel heard and seen. And so that's how my journeys got started. And I love moms and just love community is big for me.
Yeah. And wanted to congratulate you as well because you recently just held your first huge conference here in the Katy area, which I've heard from so many women that went, and they were literally like glowing. They had so many incredible things to say about it. How do you feel like it went?
I'm so over the moon. Like God has blessed me so much because I knew I wanted to do it about a year ago, but I was scared. I mean, I was just again the perfectionism, like still seeking a little bit. And I was just like, okay, I just have to jump and just do it. And I just pray my biggest prayer was for God to bring the people that needed it. And I truly believe that that's what he did because like you said, I mean, it went so good and so many moms just walked away feeling so encouraged and so good about themselves. And that's really what I wanted. So I'm super excited and I'm definitely going to do it again. So stay tuned for 2025. And yeah, I'm over the moon. It was called Great Mama Mindset Conference. And so it was just shifting from the negative mindset that we have as mothers, sometimes the lies that we tell ourselves, and we busted them and we turned it into positive, and it was really awesome.
It was so incredible to see all the little snippets and highlights on social media. So definitely I'm going to link all of Kendahl's links below so you can go ahead and follow her because she also sends out incredible text messages, which I'm signed up for.
Yes.
And
Love
it's that
it.
little boost of encouragement that you don't know that you need. And so I would just want to thank you for that as well. So
Absolutely.
shifting gears a little bit because we met through Katie Women in Business, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Friends of
which is
friends through little businesses.
yeah. And so what was really interesting was you reached out to me specifically about gut health. And so I'm curious to hear from you. What did that mean for you? How were you doing in terms of your health and nutrition prior to us talking about it specifically?
Yeah, so a little background, I've always had like stomach pain for some reason. Like even I just remember in high school, like I would just like live on Tums.
Mm,
And my dad has like really bad like GERD, and I don't know if he even ever got diagnosed really with that, but I mean it's kind of like his own diagnosis. And so it's like, oh, it just runs in the family. And then back in 2019, right before I had my second child, I had bad stomach ulcers, but I didn't know what it was. It was like pain that I had never felt before. Like I was out of work for like 2 weeks because I mean, I was like going to the ER. Like I had
Oh
just
my
like doctors
gosh.
were just like, oh, it's fine. It's probably just gas. They just kind of put band-aids on it. But I was like, no, something is wrong. So then finally I went to a GI doctor. I finally got into an endodontic, no, an endos, what is it?
Endoscopic.
Thank you. I just was like an endoscopic. And they were like, yeah, you have ulcers in your stomach. And so they were just
Ah,
like, stay away from, acidic foods, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, oh no, like pasta is my favorite. Red sauce is my favorite.
yeah.
Loved pickles, ate a lot of pickles. So all these things that they were like, don't eat. And I was like, okay, great. So I like just kind of learned slowly to stay away from it, but I still would do it because again, I guess I hadn't hit rock bottom. And then I got pregnant. Everyone has acid reflux when they're pregnant. And then I just kind of again just took Tums, lived my life. And in 2022, I started feeling really weird, having like little episodes of fatigue, like in and out. And I just didn't know what it was. And I kind of stayed quiet about it. And then I told my husband and my mom, and they're like, let's go to the doctor. So I was like, maybe it's my hormones. I went to my OB. He was like, I have an IUD. And so he was like, that's local. I don't really think that has anything to do with it. But I'm not like, he just didn't think it was. I was like, well, I want to get blood drawn. So, got blood drawn and my blood sugar was like super low. I was at a 53. And
Mm.
he was like, so the nurse called him, was like, you need to go to a nutritionist. You have you're hypoglycemic. I was like, awesome, great. What does that mean? So went to a nutritionist. She was great. But it was just kind of like, okay, just balance your diet. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know what that means. Again, I wouldn't say we were great eaters. We were just very like pastas and just grab what we can, freezer meals. Like, and again, we still do that, but like to a little bit, like we just had to figure out like eating a little healthier. We just, before we had kids, we were just going, going, going. We were picky eaters, my husband and I. And so we didn't know what that technically meant on a balanced, healthy diet. We automatically thought it cost money and it was hard. And so I kind of just started on the journey in 2022 of figuring out what that meant. And so then it still just wasn't working. I was still having episodes. And so early
Mm.
of 2023, I went to a holistic doctor and she wanted me to do a GI mapping, which is TMI for people that don't know. It's like literally you poop in a box and you send it in and they like just test everything in your stomach, like all the bacteria is good, bad, everything. So it's really weird. It's really weird, but it
Right.
was so worth it because I got so much results. Okay, so I took my mom with me for that test result. Like she's like, come in, we're gonna have lots of information. And my mom like recorded it because it's like so much information. But basically, I had a lot of like bad bacteria in my gut. And so she kind of gave me some like probiotics, like some stuff to take, for every day. And she also told me aloe vera juice would really cleanse the gut. And that really helped. And I don't remember, I think I found like met you right after this. And I was still very early on the journey. And so I wanted to know about your cookbook because not only is like your cookbook, again, you look at it and you think like people think, oh, it's a cookbook. It's going to be a lot. It's out of my realm. I don't know how to do it. But you had said, okay, well, I give like your grocery list. And I was like, okay, I need to know more about this. So I met with you, we talked about just how important gut health really was for your whole body every day. And I was like, okay, I really loved you. And I was like, I'm going to try your book. So I tried the book. And so my husband, of course, was like, not doing it. I don't know. And then he was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll try to support you, but don't make fun of me if I'm eating behind your back. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Just don't eat in front of me.
Right.
So I was like, for 30 days, we're going to try this book and we're just going to see. And again, I kind of was like having episodes, but not as much because I was already starting to learn the balanced diet and just a little bit backstory. When I started with the first nutritionist, it was like, you need carbs. And so she was like, you're hypoglycemic. And so I just started gaining a lot of weight because I was really scared of that episode. And then it would cause me anxiety. And then I was like, having anxiety. It was just like a whole cycle. And then, so when we got the results back, I kind of missed this part. So when we got the results back from my gut health and I did blood work too, she was like, I don't think you're hypoglycemic. She was like, I really think that you're just so out of whack. Like back in 2020, I wanted to lose my baby weight. So I was like fasting, and then the 1 or 2 meals I would have like wasn't good. And so like
Mhm.
just learning all this about me, she was like, I really don't think that you are hypoglycemic. Like your levels were okay. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I still don't know the answer to that, but I do know that balancing my diet has helped me so much. And I still have an episode, but like if I have an episode, I'm like, I wasn't good. Like I had fallen off the wagon kind of. And
Mm.
so with your book, it was so amazing because one, it taught me to meal prep, which everyone's like, that's too much. Like Sundays are not the day I want to do this. But like one thing I learned, it's like, okay, for instance, for lunch, it's like a salad. You're cutting up everything for your salad. Make 2 or 3. Like I just would look at the week and be like, hey, this week, what are we doing? When do I need to make my lunch? And I would make it for that week. So it wasn't necessarily like on Sunday, I blocked out 5 hours, you know? It was like, okay, this is what I'm eating today. And I'm just gonna cook for like a few days lunch. And then for like dinner, we would prep dinner. And then that was like our leftovers for a day or two. And I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people do like leftovers, and there's some people that don't. You just got to get over it because it's going to help your life. You know, it's like so much easier, especially when you have kids running around. Like I'm the worst at just like eating what's on their plate, or just like, okay, we're just going to eat frozen meal, like a frozen meal. And like, I'm not like, don't ever do that. Like I know it's like you have to live your life, but it's like with moderation, and don't do it every day, you know? And so the cookbook is amazing, and it's really like helped us. And what's so funny is my husband was so in love with it too. For those who know him, he's so, so picky. And he's like, where's the salad dressing? I'm like, it's olive juice and lemon juice, right? Olive oil and
Well,
lemon juice. And I'm
lemon
like,
juice.
okay, it was so, so good. And like we were both like anti like salmon, and now we like love it. So it's just so funny how like if you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't try new things to figure out what works for you, then you never know. And so it's not like, I mean, this cookbook's amazing, but it's like, even if this cookbook isn't for you, which I think it is, try something like that works for you in little increments. Like it's not an all or nothing. And I think that that's something we really learn too is what's like, I don't want to change my life. What you will change your life a little bit at a time, but you can't just 180 it, because then, yeah, like it's burnout. You feel like a failure when you fail, because you will, like life happens. You got to go to a birthday party and you got to have their pizza, you know, that they're offering you, or,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and then their cake. It's like just a little bit with moderation. It worked for me. Some people do better if they just totally cut it off. Me, that just did not work for my husband and I. We would just go really good for a week and then we would fail. And so this book really has helped us so much, because it has helped us stay on track. And even if we've fallen off, we went, okay, let's go back to a few meals. Okay, so let's figure this out. And so that's what
Mm.
we love. And it gives you the whole grocery list. Like Monday through Friday, it's what you need, because I was overwhelmed. So I just went into like HEB app and I was like, so I need, and for pickup, I didn't have to go find it in the store.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yes,
Easy.
yes, yes. So that's like a little bit of my journey. I'm still on it. I'm not the greatest. I've learned a lot and I still have a lot to learn, but really have helped me so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing so much about your experiences as well as your experience with the cookbook. That's always so funny to hear what resonates with people from the book. And the grocery list has been one of the things that people love.
Uh-huh.
But most
Yes.
of all, I think it's so hilarious how your husband really, like, we converted him basically.
Oh, for sure. For sure. He's so like, he's not like the clean, like clean health, like anything like that. He's kind of like, he's kind of old school. But then now he's like starting to learn, like, oh wow, like this really does. And especially seeing like he doesn't have any stomach issues. I'm like so jealous. Like he can eat whatever he wants. He can eat so fast and he never has acid reflux. And I'm like over there trying to eat healthy, eat slow. And I still like sometimes have it a little bit. And I'm like, But he sees how much it helps me. And
Mm.
he's like, okay, it does work for people, you know?
Yeah, that's huge. So update then after you did the 30 days, how did your gut feel? What did you notice? What was your experience?
So when I was like stricter and like stuck with it for 30 days, like my stomach never hurt. I did not have
Mm.
acid reflux and I did not have an episode of blood sugar issues. Like that's how amazing it is. And again, I'm like, I'm not the greatest because life happens, right? But I'm like mad at myself when I get off the wagon because I'm like, I feel so much better when I just eat cleaner. It's just paying attention. And I mean, truly, like the word balanced diet is real. Like I know some people don't believe in balance, but I'm like a balanced diet is for real. Like having your protein, having your vegetable, and then I mean, carbs aren't bad for you. You have to have a little bit of carb. They tell you no carbs. Me, for instance, like if I do have hypoglycemic, I have to have a little carbs. But I was going so far where I was like only eating carbs and I was gaining all this weight. It wasn't working. So it's like that balance of just having a little bit of everything is huge. And I think learning, and because I was like, well, how do you do that at breakfast? And I'm so glad my taste buds have changed because I used to not like avocado and I have like avocado all the time now because of your book. I mean, like I started to kind of like it a little bit before the book, but then I realized like how much it was in the book. I was like, oh my gosh. And everything basil seasoning, you can put on anything and it makes it amazing.
True. That's our secret weapon for everything.
Yes, yes. Which you have your own bottle.
Yes,
You make
I
created your own
did.
bottle.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I am just blown away with how much your gut healed during that time frame. And just like you mentioned, you're on a journey. This didn't just like magically happen over those 30 days alone.
No.
You were seeing improvements every single time you found a little bit more information, the GI mapping with what your holistic doctor was telling you. You were starting to
Yes.
see improvements from the supplements you were taking. And this is what I want to really emphasize with everyone is that it's not just a quick fix, right? This is
Yes. Oh, yes.
really about long-term sustainable change through those daily healthy habits. And I love that your biggest takeaway was learning how to balance your meals because I mean, if we don't give you the tools, then you're just going to go back into your old habits, right?
Yes. And like you said, long term, I mean, I think our world is just so like everything's right here, right? And so we want, of course, like a sexy body for the summer, like now for tomorrow. And then like,
Right.
okay, I want to feel better. So I want it now. Like, why isn't this working? And I still have to tell myself, okay, this is a long game. This is a long
Yeah.
game.
Mm.
Just stick with it. Like just stick with it and focus on truly sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to realize like you want and need to change like something in your lifestyle. And I really did. I had a hit rock bottom where I was literally having episodes where I was like almost fainting, like what is wrong? Because I was just like I wasn't eating good, I wasn't taking care of myself, I wasn't having enough water. I was just go, 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 and it's having kids and starting a business but truly like if you're not feeling good and your body is not fueled, how can you take care of anyone else?
Mm.
So as hard as it is, I know for us women and moms, especially like putting ourselves first, we have to wake up. We have to figure out what we're eating for the day. You have to take a break from a meeting, from something you have to do, and eat something that's good for your body. Drink water. My husband's like, have you drank any water? I'm like, gotta drink water, gotta drink water. Um, so I mean, truly, it is a long game. And that's my biggest encouragement to anyone that I talk to is again, I'm still on the journey. I think it's a lifelong journey. You have to just kind of stay focused on that path. What's your end goal? And mine truly, as much as I like want to have a awesome bod, like truly feeling good for my kids is my number one.
Yeah.
And if I'm not taking care of myself, I don't feel good. So
100%. And I think I love that you talked about your kids here too, because this is a really important point for me. Our kids learn from what we're doing on a daily basis.
yes.
They are little tiny sponges and they are picking up on literally everything we are doing, everything we're saying to ourselves. And that's why I
Hmm.
love that you're such a huge advocate of self care for moms, because not only is that having a huge impact on ourselves, it's allowing our children to see the importance of prioritizing their health.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they are sponges and I think as moms, when we fail, quote unquote fail, we think, oh, we're failing our kids. But it's like, no, that's human. So if we can show them, okay, mommy messed up or mommy learned a lesson here, this is how we can fix it. That's how we can show them, like, hey, you're not going to be perfect all the time. We're gonna make mistakes, whether it's in eating or academics or sports or whatever it is. We can learn from it and we can better ourselves every day. Just strive to be better, and just try the best we can. And so, yeah, that's my biggest. I just love to be real with people because
Mm.
we all try to be better every day, I think, but then we're also put this front on, like, I got it all together. And I'm like, we don't have it all together. None of us do. And so I don't ever want to be like, I got it all together. So I'm like, I'm still on the journey, friends. I will walk alongside you and I will cheer you on, even if I'm a little one step ahead of you or you're a few steps ahead of me, you can help me. And that's the power of community and just sharing stuff that we've learned.
Yeah. I want to ask you this because I think that that really will resonate with a lot of women. And it might still feel really hard to prioritize yourself when you do have so many responsibilities, whether it be your kids, your business, your spouse, your family, friends, etc. So for a woman that might be experiencing health issues, like you explained, all your gut related issues literally for years, and other women may be having similar ones, what would you suggest them to do as their first step to start prioritizing their health?
If you're to the point where like you don't know if it's like hormones or gut or whatever, I definitely would go see somebody. I would get like some tests done just because for me, I needed to check things off. Like, is this it or is this not it? That's just me. I wanted to go see somebody that would test for everything. And so that was like my first step. And then truly figuring out like what is your end goal, like is it to feel better, is it to get toned, is it like figuring out like what your end goal is and reminding yourself of that every day. And even though like it's hard, like we are busy, like it's like I don't have time for that, I need more hours in the day. Yeah, I agree, I say it all the time, but truly, like even if you woke up like a little earlier or you just made time like at night time or they were at school, go to bed, whatever it is, make sure you have 30 minutes to yourself to meal plan. Like figure out, like get your grocery list, make sure like cut out the stuff that's not good for you personally or for your kids or whatever you want. Again, what's your angle? Everyone's is different. And making time for that because I know it's like, oh, I don't have 6 hours in a day. I know I don't either. But just taking one step and trying to figure out, like, okay, what is best for my family? Is it this week? What are we going to eat? What are we going to do? Like, where am I going to fit my workout in or my meal planning or my extra sleep in? Like, whatever you need, make sure that you put it in because you make schedule for your kids and your spouse and your like everyone else's doctor's appointments. Like, you have to make time for yourself. And if you don't put it first, you're just going to keep putting it on the back burner and then you're going to feel, again, quote unquote, like a failure. You're not feeling better, but it's like you haven't even tried.
Mm.
And I know it's so much easier said than done, but something like I'm working on with my son, he's like, I am doing it. I'm like, no, you're not even trying. Like, you can do it, but you're not even trying. So it's like, if you
Mm.
don't even try, like, you don't even know if you can do it.
Mm.
Like,
Very true.
so it's like, just try. Like, that's my biggest thing is just try and put yourself fit it in on the daily calendar, even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, figuring out time for yourself, whatever that may be.
I love that. Ah, that is so good. And I really resonate with like having a time block that you
Yes.
can literally just say, this is for me. This is where I get to do my meal planning or whatever it is that is really going to help you to be set up for success. That's huge.
Yes. Yes. I was just sitting here thinking, even like in the car rider line, like I know a
Yeah.
lot of us, will be like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna scroll. I mean, and sometimes mindlessly scrolling, just kind of escaping reality. I'm not against it, like whatever. But if you have like something that you like, okay, these are my 3 to-do lists today. And it's like, have you done those? Like you can do that even on your phone, like go to the HEB or Kroger or wherever you shop. go on their app and like, or make your grocery list in the car. And then, when you go later that day, at least you already done it, instead of when you get home, unpacking the kids' stuff, you're like, oh, I still have to do the grocery list. And then it's like crazy madness at the end of the day. You're like, so just figuring out that 10 minutes where you have some alone time, because you can fit it in somewhere. I know it's so much easier said than done, but you can do it.
Right. And it's all about creating that habit. So once you get used to, for instance, creating your online grocery store order, it's going to save, which means it's going to
Yes.
make it easier for you the next time. And it all compounds, the momentum
Yes.
builds, and it just starts with making that one choice today to prioritize yourself and how you're nourishing your body.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, so good. Okay. So I would love to hear from you the answer to one last question. And
Okay.
that is, what would be your last words of wisdom that you want to share with a woman who might be having some health struggles right now, might be feeling really challenged by setting aside time for herself? How do you want to encourage her today?
Make time for yourself and don't feel guilty about it. You are not
Mm,
a bad mom because you are prioritizing yourself, getting a sitter if you have little one to go to the doctor's appointment or go work out or go to the grocery store alone. That does not make you selfish. That is, you are being the best mom you can be, because you have to take care of yourself to be a good mom, like to be the best mom you want to be. And so, my encouragement is just really try to figure out some time to get your health in line, because we want your kids need you. And if you aren't feeling good, you're not the best. So that's my encouragement.
oh, so good. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today, Kendahl. I also want to say that you interviewed me for your podcast, which is very
Yes.
exciting.
Yes. Yes.
And we talked a lot about hormones, which is a big topic. We did talk a lot about certain symptoms that you might be experiencing and what you can do about it. So that's going to be available on Kendahl's podcast, which I'll also link in the show notes too.
Absolutely.
But guys, make sure to go and check out Kendahl's page because she has so much amazing encouragement. I love getting your text messages, like I mentioned before. But most of all, thank you for sharing your gut health journey. I'm so grateful that you tried the book and that you saw
Yes.
so many wonderful benefits from doing so. So I'm excited to see where you are at in the next year, because who knows, like your gut health is going to continue to improve every single day from here on out.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I love getting to encourage moms and share my story.
Incredible. Okay, guys, make sure to share this episode with a mom that you love. Make sure to prioritize yourself today, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.